This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Crispy Bacon here. Welcome to On Deck, second episode of the 2025 season. We're almost there. I mean, couple days from now, we'll have the official games, I guess. I mean, they do count, but it's kind of a mixture of spring training meets regular season. But we'll talk about that here in this episode. I am here with James. How you doing today?
Man, that's a loaded question. I started the day with some laundry. Saw a little bit of spring training games. They have a spring training like breakout where they have some like young players, really showcasing their stuff, like minor leaguers going out there more than the major leaguers, I guess, the last couple of days, and that's going to continue on this weekend. So that's been a little fun to see the future of your franchise. I don't have a future, of course, but remember the Angels are the worst ranked farm system. So
I did see that from Fox. I think MLB on Fox, and
thank you MLB on Fox.
Yeah,
I think Detroit has number one, by the way.
Of the best or the worst?
Yeah, the best. The Angels worst. Detroit's the best. I think the Dodgers are top 5 at least. With all the spending they've done. But yeah, I went to my local Goodwill. Some Angel fan probably gave up and gave all of his crap away. So I was able to get this Angel hat for like $3. And literally, it feels like the dude didn't even wear it. It feels brand spanking new. I did get a Shohei Ohtani clear bag. I'm gonna sell it on my eBay page. One thing you mentioning hats, right, Chris? I miss the Rangers wearing that red hat. They got rid of, I think, the red jersey.
I miss everything red.
Yeah, I think they got rid of the red jersey because you can only have a certain amount now. But I think they still have the red hat. But yours is a little different. But
I think baby blue.
I mean, that's their history. I think the late 70s, early 80s, they had baby blue, but it just looks weird on a player nowadays.
Yeah, I don't mind like a dark blue with a little like baby blue around it. Like a highlight kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the whole uniform, I don't know, it just looks weird to me. But yeah, we'll talk about hats later.
Oh yeah,
it's interesting. Some of them were like, and some of them we had to look up, but we'll get to that.
The whole AL West has funny looking ones, word wise.
Yeah. Whoever was in the marketing department, good job, because now people are, they're paying a lot of money for them now. But
yeah, why is it always the MLB that has these issues with uniforms last year with Fanatics and now New Era with hats this year? It's weird.
Yep. So, as we're talking about the 2025 season and what it's leading up to, what's the update on your team? You're an Angels fan or somewhat Angels fan, I guess, but
I am what do you call it? A disgruntled, like that's what it says on my X page or Twitter page or my Instagram.
Yeah.
It says disgruntled Angels, Clippers, Raider fan. But, I'm here for the long haul, even though it's been 10 years since they've made the playoffs or had a winning season. It just feels like crap, basically. Oh, they're 8-12 because they lost today to Milwaukee at home in Tempe Diablo Stadium. A lot of their young players aren't really performing well. Remember, I talked about last week, Chris, and with you and Brandon, how Mike Trout will be moving to right field because they're trying to save some, plays for his knees to, play longer, I guess. In center field, though, the two players that are competing for the center field spot are both hitting under 200. They're just awful. The rotation, other from Kikuchi, hasn't done well. The bullpen is probably the bright spot right now with Kenley Jansen and Ben Joyce. Other from that, though, there hasn't been much from the veterans. Like Trout hasn't done much, but you understand, he's not going to be like going all out in spring training. But Jorge Soler, the DH who they got the day after the World Series, they went out and traded for him, I think from the Giants, I want to say.
Yeah.
He is really doing well because he's in the lineup right after Trout. So that they can't like walk Trout and then go after Soler. So that's going to be great. He's been a great power hitter. He's always been that. But there's been some young kids that are vying for the center field spot, and it might be interesting that Moniak and Adele don't get that center field spot. Instead, it'll be some young kid that Kyron Paris and then Matthew Lugo. These are two young guys who aren't supposed to be up yet, and one will probably be on the opening day roster, and maybe in the opening starting lineup. That would be crazy. But it's just a lot of just players underperforming, sort of like last year. And it's fortunate, though, the injury bug hasn't really, came about yet. The Angels usually...
I don't know.
This is usually the time when the Angels do very well, in spring training only. And then the season has to begin, and they lose. But except yesterday, they had a split squad games going. They were up, I think, 7-1 against who the hell did they play? Kansas City Royals, and they let them come back and win 9-8. And it felt like a regular season game already to me. But Chris, with your Texas Rangers, I saw that John Gray, I think, has a wrist injury, and it's just another pitcher that is out for Texas. And I also saw one of your younger pitchers as well, Rocker. He threw a couple he threw one pitch close to Fernando Tatis Jr.'s head, and then the next pitch hit him in the head. So he has some control issues. He's a really high draft pick. But, yeah, more to John Gray and your Rangers. I mean, that's already a big loss for your rotation.
Yeah, it definitely is. You also got Adolis Garcia out.
With what did I say last week? Garcia, he had the oblique strain, I think it was.
Yeah, he'll be out for a few weeks. But you're talking about the injury bug, man. That's an injury bug in itself, and it's kind of depressing a little bit. But hopefully, that's just something that we can deal with early on.
Yeah, luckily it's now in spring and you can make some moves possibly. I know a lot of people have the Rangers taking over first place. If Simeon is good, if Seager is good, if those two don't miss time, you just got to wonder about Garcia anchoring that outfield, and then you have two young guys in the outfield. Langford is really good, but he can be inconsistent here and there. He's only he was a rookie last year, but the Rangers, I think a lot of people have them winning that division. So that's going to be interesting to see all year long what happens.
It definitely will, and I know right now there's depth. We have. It's early on.
Mm-hmm.
Better this year, than last year, I guess. But no, I mean it's still spring training. Not much going on with our teams as far as that goes. But there are some stuff around the MLB here. Yankees, Carlos Stanton will receive a third round of PRP injections in both elbows. That sounds very painful.
And me and Callan talked about this on C2C at night, right? With the way that he doesn't really use his legs, he uses more of his arms, and he barely moves. It's almost like a old school what do you call it, action figure where you press a button and it moves like this, but only the midsection moves, but the legs don't. That's right. How he hits a ball. But I'm trying to figure out how the hell does it affect his elbows and both. I've never seen that before with surgery needed for both elbows.
It just sounds very, very painful.
Yeah, I want to see if it came out of place or if it just needed to be put back in place. I got to look more into that.
Yeah.
Yankees are being hit by the injury bug. There's another one.
Garrett Cole.
Player. Yeah.
He will have Tommy John surgery. And will be out for the entire year.
And probably the start of next season, if there is a season. I remember.
He's probably praying, going, "Please no season, please no season." Please. I mean, in that sense.
Then he's going to be rusty, and he's going to be going on 36 years old. That's the only thing, is that contract is long, but he's getting up there.
He could join the Savannah Bananas. I mean, rehab assignment.
Oh, by the way, I saw the Savannah Bananas tonight. They're playing at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. That's the football team's stadium. And remember the Rays we're going to talk about later, when their dome got, the roof came off, literally, the tarp or whatever, I should say. They were literally trying to figure out places to play, and that was one of the places. So I want to see how the field is today. I'll watch that tonight, the Savannah Bananas. Just a crazy-ass game that they play. It's like Harlem Globetrotters, but just with the rules and everything else, it is wild.
But the funny thing is, they don't want to be compared to them.
I never heard of that, but they're not, because it's baseball. But that's my comparison. Real quick about Garrett Cole. So I jotted this down for another show I do, and I forgot, in the spring of 2024, he also had an injury last year, and they feared that it was going to be a Tommy John issue for Cole, did the Yankees. But he was out until June. So he didn't qualify, I guess, for the Cy Young, but he won it in 23 when he was fully healthy. All right, so the Yankees are now looking for starter help. They're already down 2 starters with Luis Gil out, and he'll be out 3 months. Originally, I thought it was okay, it's only going to be 5 weeks or whatever, but it got worse, the time out for them. So they do have Stroman in there, and Rodon will be the opening day starter for New York. But their the rotation is just kind of flipped over, and they're looking in the trade market. But The owner came out and said they're going to just try to do it from within with the minor leagues, since there's only really one pitcher out there that everybody kind of wants, and it's Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins. Marlins just trade whoever is good, and I hate that. But it looks like the Yankees are just going to have their minor leaguers be starters, or they might have the dreaded openers, where it's just like a bullpen day, the whole 9 innings.
Yeah.
We'll see how the Yankees do after the first three starters of the season start. We'll see how they handle the back end of that rotation. A lot of expectations in that rotation with Farid coming over from Atlanta. You have Rodon, and then you have I forget the other guy, but then you have Stroman now. Whew, it's going to be interesting.
Tampa Bay Rays Dave Roberts agrees to a contract extension. It's about $8 million, maybe a little more than that, which is raising the price of the average for a manager in MLB history.
Yeah, the Dodger manager who's been there since I think 2014 took over for Don Mattingly. He gets more annually than what's his name? Craig Counsell, who now manages the Cubs. He went in division from the Brewers to the Cubs because the Cubs offered him so much money to go there, to go down the highway to Illinois. But he'll make the most annually, but it's not the biggest contract. It's the weirdest thing how it was all worded. But think of Dave Roberts being there. They have 2 World Series titles. One was in your backyard in 2020. And then they won last year in 5 games over the Yankees. But before that, they went to 2 World Series and lost, 2017, 2018. And then he's won the division every year since 2014, other from 2021, when it was San Francisco who had a surprise year. And they'll probably never have another year like that again for a while for the Giants. So the Dodgers, they've been the gatekeepers all this time. And Roberts, through all the, people saying that he should be fired, he has the best winning percentage out of, anyone ever. And that's all the Dodger managers too. Lasorda, Austin, he's just been amazing throughout. And to also keep all these egos in check in the locker room. He's had Puig, he's had all these different people, Machado for 1 year, and then all the players now, what he had to do last year. But I think they have so many good people in that locker room that it's not an issue, though. Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, they're all standout people, allegedly. So, congratulations to Roberts, and he'll be going until 2029, and I imagine he's going to, unless they lose in the first round or don't make the playoffs, I think he's going to be the manager up until 2020 or after 2029. I think he's going to be the manager throughout.
He might not be a manager in 2026, according to reports, but they might have to put an extra year on that contract if there is a lockout.
I should know this, but I'm trying to figure out, everything just moves up 1 year, I think, or because everybody has to get paid, and they can't get paid without the fans and the tickets and the revenue. So I think everything just moves up a year if there is a lockout. I gotta look back at 1994, how that all went. I wasn't into sports because I was probably so damn young, so I didn't really know all the ins and outs like I do now.
Boston Red Sox, Lucas
Giolito.
Yeah, to start the season on the IL due to a hamstring strain.
Yeah, luckily they have Garrett Crochet they got from the other Sox, the White Sox. Luckily they got him. By the way, so he's going to be a big part of that young rotation, but him and I mean, he's probably the oldest in that rotation since, Valdi's gone and Pavetta's gone from the Red Sox. That's another team where they're going to have to score a lot of runs because that rotation is going to give up a lot of runs. So that's a big loss coming out of the gate for the Red Sox.
Oh, yeah. Anytime that's happening, it's a huge loss.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the Yankees trying to find a pitcher through the trade market. The MLB said for 2025, the deadline will be in the end of July 31st at about 6 p.m. Eastern time. So that's kind of newsworthy, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Until then, to make trades. I'm going to talk about two stories. They're kind of going to go back to back here.
Let's see if I know what it is or if I have it.
Tampa Bay Rays Stadium.
Oh yeah. Duh.
They're not going to continue with, the one they're building in St. Pete, which kind of raises the question about, and this is when we were talking about hats, one of the topics of hats. We have this of Nashville, their potential MLB expansion team in Nashville gets a hat. So if Tampa Bay is not a team, could you see, Nashville being the replacement?
Well, down low it says the expansion team. So I think this is only if it's an expansion team coming to Nashville, but it could always be a possibility. Now this would be the Nashville Stars.
Yes.
It looks so damn generic though. It looks like a 1920s team or Negro Leagues team.
Oh.
I wish it was like colorful, like Nashville. When you think of Nashville, you think of like guitars, right? So I would love to see some brown, some orange, something like with flavor. Nashville, they're known for their barbecue, I think. So, Nashville hot barbecue. So I want to see something brown. Black and white. It's like everybody does something like this.
But wouldn't the Padres have to change?
No. You can do whatever you want to do as long as it doesn't have like the same, font or whatever.
Right, but I mean their color scheme.
Yeah. You could. Anybody could be anything. As long as it's not the same name or the city or whatever. Yeah, you can do whatever colors you want to. You got any more on the Tampa Bay situation? Because I got a couple of things I read about yesterday.
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, the Rays pulling out of St. Pete, the plan to build a stadium right next to the dome. And I saw this news coverage. I think it was ABC affiliate in Tampa. Yeah. Anyway, the area around there is just like grass, and it's a power plant, and they're wanting to build on top of that, and it looks awful. So I'm happy they're pulling out of that. Again, St. Pete is so far away from where the actual fans are in Tampa. They have to drive pretty far to get there. So I hope they get something in Tampa done. But if not, these are the stories that I was working on, or the research, I should say. Yeah. We can get rid of the Nashville thing, because if there's ever expansion, it's going to be after 2030 because they have to get the Las Vegas thing done, and then they have to get this Tampa thing done. So I don't think expansion's coming anytime soon. But the dome, remember, was damaged in Hurricane Henry, I want to say it was, in last November? I don't know when it was. October?
Like November, December.
Yeah, November. To repair it, it's going to be $56 million or more, up to $60 million probably. Okay, and that's going to take 1 year. So they have to find a place to play anyway next season. But the money is the issue. Where is it coming from? The Rays aren't going to pay for everything. So it's going to have to come from the city of St. Pete. But guess what? They just pulled out of the deal for a new stadium. So St. Pete doesn't want to pay anything to repair that dome unless they want to do it for themselves, knowing that maybe they can have someone else go in there, but non-baseball related, but nobody wants to play there for anything.
This is where you should have a grassroots campaign. Have like the Buccaneers help out if they want to keep their baseball team, their local baseball team intact. I'm sure,
But they play in actual Tampa. It's like
Right,
you want Tampa. You want if you're doing that, you want, if you're the Bucks, you want the Rays right next to you.
Yeah.
That's what I would want. I want the Rays right next to the Bucks. I think that would be great for everything, but that's going to take a couple of years or more to get anything going.
I don't know.
Yeah. But the Rays are paying $15 million right now to play one season at Steinbrenner Field. That's the home of the Yankees spring training and single A, by the way. But imagine that you're paying $15 million to play at your rival's spring training home, and then the A's are doing the same thing. I don't know how much it is though to play at the Giants AAA ballpark. It's just the weirdest thing.
It's probably a pretty penny, and I wouldn't want to pay that.
Yeah, especially in California. And then they had to do renovations to put more seats into Sacramento's ballpark as well. I think attendance would be up by 2,000 for 3 years there or more. The Rays have backed out of that, but MLB wants the owner of the Rays to sell because they're fearful that they're going to have to continue to be playing at these little ballparks. So the revenue won't be the same for everyone else. So MLB really wants Stu Steinberg, the primary owner, to sell, but they want to keep him in the area somehow, and that's a challenging thing. Now, this opens up the door for the Orlando Dreamers. Remember, this was a possibility. The last 2 seasons, they were talking about the Rays moving or expansion team going to Orlando, which is 90 minutes away from where they're playing now, St. Pete to Orlando up north. This is like me going up to Los Angeles, 90 miles away.
Yeah.
But they would have to find a temporary home if they're going to move up to Orlando. They would play at the Walt Disney World of Sports complex. The Braves have played some exhibition games there, and remember that was the site of the 2020 bubble as well.
Yeah, wasn't that the ESPN?
While wherever World of Sports complex, it's there. It's ESPN Disney, but that might be the logical thing. And then you're hoping that like Orlando is able to build a ballpark for you. And by the way, I think in the 1950s or so, I can't remember, there was the Miami Marlins in minor league baseball, and now it's the Miami Marlins. But the Orlando Rays were a thing back in the day. So it's funny how that could all happen again. But possibly the Rays can move to Orlando. And it would suck for all the people in I keep saying Tempe, but Tampa to go all the way up there and back or spend a weekend there. It's like, remember, it's the tourist type of place with Disney World right there.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is like, hey, it's a tourist spot, but it's not going to be like a weekly thing for baseball. That's what the issue is going to be for Las Vegas, because everybody goes there for vacation, but nobody goes there to live on the Strip where the new stadium is going to be. So you're not going to have those weekday crowds like it's going to be for weekends. See, both places are going to be like that. But for years, remember, Orlando has had renderings and they had plans to build a ballpark. And an investor has stepped up and a letter of intent is ready to go for financing for the stadium. So, for the city to put their money in and for the ownership to put their money in. But the owner would have to sell, the Rays owner would have to sell to whomever is in Orlando. And Barry Larkin, the former Hall of Fame, World Series, Reds shortstop, he's part of a group that's trying to get Orlando an MLB team. But Orlando, I read, is the largest media market without an MLB team. Orlando is. I would have thought like Portland, Nashville, what's another place? Montreal, of course. But Orlando is a big TV market. It's like 13, I want to say, but they don't have an MLB team, so that's why it might work. But that's going to be a thing in the future to see if that opens up because of the A's pulling out of St. Pete. So that's going to be it's going to take all year, 2 years. And then if 26 doesn't happen, like negotiations going to have to stall. And Mother Nature has just ruined what's going on, of course, with the dome last year to this year. It's a mess.
It is a mess. I hope they fix it soon. They need to fix it. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but we'll just see what happens. We talked about the expansion teams. Let's talk about a couple of the teams that have announced their opening day starting pitchers. Boston Red Sox, Garrett Crochet. He's named starter since 2024. He's 9-19 as a starting pitcher, 2.29 ERA, and 294 strikes.
He's been he's been weird because remember he was a guy last year that wanted a trade, but only if an extension came about it. And that didn't happen. No one gave to his demands. And now he's doing like a 1-year deal or a 1 year left on his contract with the Red Sox to prove it. And it would be good if he had an opening day to remember because he's trying to get a bag,
Right. And you also have for the Pittsburgh Pirates, the rookie sensation, Paul Skeens. He has a 11-3 record, 1.96 ERA, 170 strikeouts. He's also on the cover of MLB The Show this year.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie of the year, like I mentioned. Now he's a starting pitcher on opening day. What's your thoughts?
I think the show, it also has 2 other young players. I want to say De La Cruz of the Reds, and then, oh God, I forget the other player, but it's like the first time they've ever had 2, more than one athlete on the cover. Remember, he started in the All-Star game last year. And then, like you mentioned, Rookie of the Year. He won that easily, I guess. It should have been Jackson Merrill because he played more games for San Diego, being an outfielder. But Skeens got it just based on, I guess being a pitcher. I don't know. But it only helps him. And it's just sad, though, the Pirates didn't really spend. Like, they never do. They did make some extensions happen. But I was hoping they would go out and maybe show Skeens like, hey, we're going to put talent around you to, possibly make a playoff run. Like, they were good for a little bit last year, but eventually, like, reality hit them. and they faded out of the playoff spot. But I don't expect much out of them. But maybe he's going to be the only beacon for them this year.
I could see that. It's going to be early on, like you said, the first 2 or 3 pitchers starting the season are going to have a big impact on their teams and potentially on the season. That's all I have on starting pitchers. If that's all you have too.
There was actually a couple more that I saw. So Zach Eflin, he's been bouncing around the AL East. His girls, his 3 daughters, got to tell him that he's the opening day starter for Baltimore. It's kind of a heartwarming moment.
Aww.
I guess as they're home and he's in Florida. But the family was able to break the news. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Carlos Rodon will be the opening day starter for the Yankees. And then for the other team in New York, in Queens, the Mets, it'll be Clay Holmes, the former Yankee, starting on opening day for New York. Remember, they have at least 3 starters out for the Mets. Man, pitchers are just, they're falling here and there to all the injuries, like you mentioned with Giolito, and there'll be more to talk about, throughout the week. You just know it. There's going to be more injuries happening.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at from MLB Network what the 2025 rotation options for the Rangers could be, and it's saying Cody Bradford will start the IL with elbow soreness.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And he's young. He came up a couple of years. I've seen him. He has some good stuff. He has a funky rotation or a motion, but he's pretty good though.
I mean, like this post says, at least they have depth.
That's a good thing. The only thing is the bullpen lost some key bullpen help. So that's going to be unfortunate.
That will be unfortunate. I think we should stop talking, like exhibition games and spring training games, and let's move on to some regular season baseball in Tokyo, as we have the pitching matchups for the Tokyo series between the Dodgers and the Cubs.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto will go for Los Angeles, and then Shota Imanyama.
Good job reading that.
Both Japanese and starting there in the Tokyo Dome in this series. That's what I was hoping was, everybody, of course, wanted Shohei Ohtani to start, but they're being very cautious with him. Ever since he came to Camelback Ranch there in Arizona, they were letting him throw fastballs at first and then throwing the off-speed stuff. And they kind of have gone a little bit, mixing there, shutting him down a day or two. But as he's DHing, it'll be interesting to see when Shohei will make his first, Dodgers start as a pitcher. Maybe end of April or May. But I think a lot of people wanted him to start one of these games. And unfortunately, he'll just be the DH. Now, the thing is, Chris, I think this game I think will be on Fox, I want to say. And where I am, it's going to be on at 3 a.m. on the West Coast. 5 a.m. where you are.
Yep.
That's the unfortunate part. I'm not going to stay up for that.
I know the first game, and I'm undecided on this, but the first game, I have to work at 11 a.m. my time.
Same here.
So I'm like, I don't know.
I'm like, if the Angels were playing, sure, but if not, last year because I didn't have an actual job, I stayed up and watched both, Dodger Padre games. So I was able to do that. But this year, I'm not going to do that.
I might watch one depending on. If it's gonna start at 5, I'll probably wake up like at 5:15.
So I rather wake up go to sleep early and then wake up and have coffee and whatever else. I rather do that. But since it's 3 a.m., I'm not gonna wake up at 3 a.m. and get up at 9 or whatever.
And then there's times where it's like, well, I kind of wish I was in Pacific time, because it's like, well, most shows that are on 7 o'clock are on at 5 o'clock, and you'll have more time in the day and this and that. So I don't know. But yeah, that's your pitching matchup. Should be a fun series. For the Cub fans out there, are you staying up for this one, knowing that it's 5 o'clock Central Time?
I think the older people would love it because it's at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Did they say what game 2 would be the starters? Because I know Roki Sasaki will be the starter for the Dodgers in game 2, but I wonder who the Cubs will throw out in game 2. They have some young pitchers in their rotation. I'm trying to remember the name of the one guy, but maybe he'll be starting for Chicago. But next week we'll be talking about it, because those will be the 2 regular season games, and we'll actually have games that will mean something to recap. I can't wait for that.
Good thing and the thing is with this matchup, or this series, I should say, one team's going to have a good start to the season, even though it's only 2 games, and the other team's going to be in the bottom of the bucket, so to speak, before everybody else gets to play.
I think the Dodgers and Padres split the 2 games in South Korea last year, so both were 1-1 going back to spring training. It's just weird starting. Like, I don't think anybody does this where they have regular season games, starting in spring training, and then they go back to regular season. I think the MLB is the only one that does this crap. Oh, by the way, that was the other, topic, or I was going to blend it in, but do you like that where, there's only 2 teams playing in the regular season this early, and then they go back to spring training? Do you like these games happening?
I do. It kind of, in a way, I know, kind of going, transitioning to football a little bit. It's like the Hall of Fame game a little bit, although that does not count in your standings. But it's a way to kind of kick off the preseason, knowing that you're the only game on, preseason wise. And I guess you do this with the NFL kickoff games, and now Barcelona, Brazil game last year. You had 14.
That was Friday? That was Friday.
Yeah.
So it was
after now you have a Thursday, Friday game. So 4 teams are in action.
Right.
But knowing that you're the only game on, it puts a lot of attention on you, and you're like, oh, I don't normally watch Cubs, or I don't normally watch Dodgers. And,
thing is, if they had like Sammy Sosa playing for the Cubs, or if they just won the World Series, it would be a great draw too. But
the only thing the Dodgers have to draw on is
they have everything going for them. That's the big part.
That is a big part, and I'm not sure. I'll have to think about like the Cubs roster, but off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Well, they traded Cody Bellinger to the New York Yankees, and that was after signing an extension too. So that was shocking as hell. Like I mentioned, they have the manager who makes the most money, Craig Counsell, just a bunch of young players. They didn't really go out and spend like you thought they would. They're having a really young team with the Cubs. I don't think they're going to be making the playoffs.
You don't think so?
Nah.
We'll see when we make our predictions down the road, probably next week. USA, I'll bring up USA Today's regular season standings that they predict when we do ours. Because I find that interesting. Let's continue our hat talk because this is interesting, I guess. These are all the hats that MLB has revealed for 2025.
Yeah,
some of them have been pulled from the market. What?
I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe 4 out of the 5 in our division are bad, but Seattle Mariners one is okay. And these are just, I think, I don't think this would be worn like on the field. These are just like, what do you call it? Like for the fans, like they could purchase it at the team store or whatever. So luckily, it's nothing like that. But if you look close at like at Houston Astro one, you know, assholes, which some people refer them to.
For Texas fans, that's accurate.
Yeah, and then you look at my team, the Angels. It's anals. It sounds like something else.
They're oh, I was gonna say a nice way, but yeah. And then you have the Rangers, which I'll just say this: Google it.
Hell yeah! I knew it right away. I was like, hell yeah! And also, you know what's crazy? I saw on eBay people were buying them and selling them on there. I didn't see the prices, but I bet people are going for. Oh,
because MLB pulled it from the market.
Yeah, that's why. And then athletics, it's just like I don't know what the issue is with athletics, but it was just the Astros, the Angels, and Texas having the ones that look odd. And then some of the teams, like the something where the logo is so big it blocks out the letters. Like that's one thing I didn't like about these hats, but it's just controversial because of those 3 teams is the way the hat just came out to be, which they didn't really think about. Remember, they got the uniforms wrong with the see-through pants that kind of exposed all the guys playing in spring training. You had the miscolors, the small letters, which now they have the regular letters back. It looks so much better on the MLB, jerseys. So they brought the 2023 jerseys back, and that's really been helpful. But it's like people don't really think about this at the headquarters where, wait, that sounds like a Spanish word. That looks like a Spanish word. Or for Texas. Yeah. And then like Angels looks like a body part. And then Astros, that's not good marketing. So
and the thing is, I heard about the Rangers thing I hear on local radio, and then I'm like, does it? And then I googled it, and then it's like, oh, yeah.
Believe me, I knew what that was right away, but I wouldn't get the hat, but I know it'd be a big deal for all the Mexican folks down there or up there in North Texas to have it.
I wonder what their thoughts are.
They're wearing it probably.
Probably.
And nobody's gonna say anything. Oh, it's just a Ranger hat. Okay.
That's true. So, there are several ballparks. I think the other day on your show you listed 28 of them.
Oh yeah, the top ones. Mine is Petco Park in San Diego. I'm not saying that because I live in the county. I just think it's a great place. Like other from sitting up top in the corner, There's no really bad seat in the house. I think it's that good. The weather's always good. The nightlife outside of the ballpark is always good. There's always somewhere you can go to get something to eat before. And then inside, you have any type of craft beer that you want. The baseball's good now. The food choices are endless. They are expensive, but endless. Yeah, pretty much anything you could think of at Petco Park. The atmosphere is always raucous since 2021 when fans were back and they started to win, so that's been helpful too. But I know everybody has their favorite just because of where they are. Like Angel Stadium used to be mine, but I've seen cracks in the foundation. Actually, I'll tell you a quick story. So me and my dad, this was like 2004, 2005, something like that. Mind you, that's 20 years ago, right? All right. So we had seats in the upper level, and we were taking the escalator up. And luckily, it had the awning above the escalator that we were up on like this, going up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a chunk of concrete fell on the awning right above us, because at first we heard a big boom. All I could think of is like, somebody set off a firework, or did a car blow up in the parking lot?
Right.
Did Disneyland have the fireworks? But it was like daytime. And then we look, and everybody's pointing up there and, seeing the concrete on the awning where we were just going up on the escalator, just above that, or below that, I should say. And that just told me, ugh. And then I've seen people, like trip and fall over the concrete, cracks on the upper level, especially. The seats are kind of faded in certain areas. It's just lost its charm. It's, they've had it since 1966.
Okay.
They've redone the stadium, though, about 3 times, where they put in new seats in 97, 98 when Disney owned the team. So that's getting kind of old. So it just feels like they really need a new one bad. I know the owner was trying to get one, but they had an illegal deal go on where they weren't able to get it done. The Anaheim mayor had to resign, and I think he had some jail time as well. So there was some shady stuff going on with the Angels and the city trying to get the deal done. But yeah, Angel Stadium used to be mine until I grew up and realized, well, the baseball's horrible, and then we're sitting in an old place, and I just love Petco Park more. I think because the seats are kind of tilted to home too. That's what I like about it too. Every seat is curved to home plate, no matter where you are. Unless you're right behind home plate, then the seats are straight. But all the rest of them down the line, they're curved to where you could look into home plate. Whenever I'm at Angel Stadium around the foul poles, those are like the cheapest tickets for the lower level. You literally have to watch the game like this the whole time. And my neck strains so damn bad because of that. Now, what I did see about Texas, I don't know if you heard me talk about the new stadium there, is that the roof looks like a barbecue grill, and then inside it has these weird like seating sections.
It can be weird, yes.
And then the fences are further away too. And I know Joey Gallo, that was like the first thing he noticed. The power hitter with the Rangers back in the a couple of years ago, he was gone, but he noticed right away because they're not playing outdoors, so the ball doesn't carry as much. Right. But I know the fans, they've liked the Jerry World kind of suites on the bottom there.
Yeah.
That was like, no one ever did that before for a MLB stadium. That was interesting, but I'm guessing that's your favorite stadium, or what is yours?
I guess it would be because it's only, minus the old stadium, Choctaw now.
That's what they called it? It's the casino
in Oklahoma.
Okay.
But Yeah, it was the Arlington Ballpark.
Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, and then
Yeah.
they called it America Quest Field
Uh-huh.
in Arlington.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
what was when it opened?
Now it's a football stadium.
No, when they opened the new ballpark, I'm trying to remember what it was called in the '90s, but I can't remember what it was. The old place though was,
But no,
I
the
think
old Ranger. Hold on, let me see.
the old one was like the outdoor one, but it looked weird because it looked like a football stadium. That was Arlington Stadium, I think.
Yeah, so the stadium they had last before this one, it's now Choctaw. It used to be the Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Now hosts the Renegades of the UFL.
I've seen that.
So and they did host rugby.
I can see that. I was trying to remember the name. Like, I just
So
remember
you had-
AmeriQuest.
So you had Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium. I believe that was when they were in Washington.
Oh yeah, with the Senators.
From
Yeah.
62 to 1971.
Yeah.
Then they moved to Arlington in Arlington Stadium. 1972 to 1993. Boy, I feel old. 1994 to 2019, it was the ballpark in Arlington.
Okay. I know there was one sponsor in there though, like in the 2000s. It was AmeriQuest Field in Arlington or something like that. But the thing is, I think the fans enjoy it more because it's inside, I would imagine.
Yeah, when it's summertime in July and August, and that's why in like 18 and 19 we had those scorching hot days here. Everybody's like, we need an indoor stadium.
The I can only imagine how it was for, in the 70s and 80s in the old ballpark where there's no shade, the little small stadium. And then the new ballpark, it had shade, but only in certain areas. It was still outdoors. It made for the ball to travel, but the pitchers hated it. And then the uniforms were still pretty heavy. And then finally the uniforms got, better. And now they're indoors, so it's better for everyone.
Yeah. And the interesting is, and I'm not going political too much, but Bush was the former owner of the team. And I guess another stadium I do like watching, I guess, on TV is Colorado's or Arizona's.
Colorado is cool because they have the swimming pool in right field.
Yeah.
The only problem is they've been having issues with the AC in there. So for summers in Arizona, that could be an issue. Colorado, they have a beautiful ballpark, but the baseball sucks.
I hate the name design, the name change for Houston.
Oh, Dykenfield? Dyken Park?
I liked Minute Maid.
I remember Enron Field. Whoops.
We should do a countdown of the 10 worst stadium names. Not necessarily just stadiums, but like naming the stadium, like the worst names.
It will get some used to for instead of calling it Minute Maid Park or Enron Field. It'll get some used to there.
Kind of like Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not Heinz Field
anymore. I hate that.
Yeah,
I still call it Heinz Field.
I do too. Yeah.
By the way, number one was PNC Park for the Pirates, and it has small capacity in it, but the views of it looks awesome. The bridge, the Allegheny River, and then the downtown skyline. I just wish the team was consistently good, that more people would come out, and then more tourism would happen.
That would be good.
Yeah, that's the only issue with it.
But that's all I have. What else do you got for?
With Vladimir Guerrero Jr. real quick, He is seeking to receive the second richest, highest contract in MLB history in terms of present day value. So
Next to-
it's going to
next
be
to
it would be Soto first, and then he wants to be in between Soto and Otani, but I don't see that happening. I really don't. But he wants a $500 million extension. But the only thing is, he doesn't want to sign long term with the Blue Jays, so they're looking to trade him. My guess would be the Yankees, of course, gets him. He likes some pictures, I think, on X where he's in a Yankee uniform. So that only shows me that maybe a trade is imminent. The only thing is, would Yankees do that depending on the season that they're having? So that's going to be a really interesting part for the Blue Jays. And then Bobby Witt Jr., he did exit Wednesday's game being hit on the left-hander wrist by a pitch. He's day to day, but I thought he was going to be out longer, and that would be a really, really bad thing for the Royals. And then the trade deadline has been set July 31st at 6 p.m. Eastern, so 5 your time, 3 my time, and I hope it's gonna be more active because but I'm usually at work when it happens. But the Heedy crew for my YouTube channel that I work with, they always have a trade deadline special, like going down to the last minute. And I just hope this year we see more activity, but it hasn't been as popping as it would be.
not as
So I
much
wanna
as the
see that.
NFL.
No, well, that's what the off-season free agency and all that. Usually
yeah.
MLB was good with that, but this is in season, and I think more teams now are kind of hesitant to make big trades, just trying to keep the budget lower. I think that's why you see less trades in season.
Yeah. I mean, let's hope it is active, a little more active. But hey, I guess news is news.
Since we're at the hour mark, I was thinking we could do surprises for each league when we do our predictions. I think that would be better. I was going through the topics that I have, and we went through all of them, but except that one. But I think it'd be best if we do that. We wait and do that, for that.
That sounds good to me. I mean,
it only makes sense because we would go through every division, and
I think after that.
Oh, I forgot to mention the new City Connect jerseys for 8 teams. But go on ahead as I find that. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we can do that next time too. I'll put that down. But don't they? Isn't there like a week gap after these 2 games?
Yeah, there's everybody else. Plays later on. I think March 27th is opening day for everyone else, including them, the Dodgers and Cubs. It's just that they have these 2 games that count in the middle of everybody else being exhibitious, and it's just weird as hell. I made up that word, by the way, right now. All right,
you did.
Exhibitious. It's not a word, but whatever.
Well, there's a lot of words, but they made it in the dictionary. So I mean,
you're being expeditious. That means you're not being like real. Ooh, I made up that word right now. All right, that sounds good. You're being expeditious. You're an exhibition. All right, so the teams. I'll quickly go through them if I have it. I've saved so many things for everybody. All these reels that I have, It's just crazy to me.
Before you read them off, expeditious is in the dictionary.
Oh, okay.
It says done with speed and efficiency.
Oh no, that's expeditious.
Yeah.
So but I'm thinking, I'm saying the word like exhibition.
Okay, I got you.
But there's already the word is already used for
I got you.
that now, I guess. Whoops. So I can't use it. All right. I had it. I swore I had it, but maybe I'll find it another time because I cannot find the Colorado Rocky owner is wanting a salary cap because he's cheap and he's seen what the Dodgers have done this off season. He's kind of like contradicting himself, where if he was spending, then I could see that, right? But he's not even spending to the limit. He's not even spending like half of what the Dodgers are spending. So everybody has like gone after him because of this, to say like, hey, if you were spending, then we would trust you, or we would believe you, but we just don't believe him. We don't want to believe him.
So I do have the list of who's getting them.
Oh yeah, thank you. Because I don't know where the hell it went.
And it has a description of kind of what they're going to be. Arizona Diamondbacks.
Oh, that's right. I love their new ones. I mean, their old ones.
They're getting a second design. Will unveil a new City Connect uniform in 2025. Boston.
I didn't like remember theirs is the city flag colors. It's yellow and blue. I hated those.
They will introduce a new City Connect uniform in 2025.
I hope it's something Green Monster.
Their yellow City Connect uniforms will remain in the regular rotation, replacing the team's Blue Road alternate.
Oh, I like the Blue Road alternate. Ooh.
The Chicago White Sox.
Oh, those are good too. There's like pinstriped, old suit looking. I like those too.
They'll get a second design. Will reveal, Colorado.
I like those too. It's the state. It's the what do you call it? The state flag or the state license plate, where it's green with the Rocky Mountains and white sky. I love those.
Houston.
I like those Space City ones. Boy. It's all the ones that I like that the Angels, I think, are doing it after next season.
Who is?
The Angels will be replacing those after next season. They'll have new City Connects for 2026.
I'll get to 2026 in a minute. Miami.
Oh, so those are like the sugarcane red stripe for Cuba. I love those too.
San Francisco.
I hated those. Those look like softball uniforms.
They will unveil a second design, announce that there will be some changes made to the current version of the City Connect jersey in 2025.
Good.
Washington.
See, it's the state flower, I think it is. But it's that gray with the wash WHS and then the state flowers right there. I like those.
They'll have a second design. It was announced on social media that they will be retiring the cherry blossom uniform following the 2024 season, which they did. And it will replace with a new City Connect uniform. Now let's move to 2026. There's only one team that I could find, but the only team they list is San Diego.
And I don't like them. They're
They'll have a second design announced via social media that they will be retiring the pink and mint uniforms following the 2025 season. So unfortunately, you have to deal with that for one more year.
Ugh. I hate once those came out. It's like, that's. I get it, but ugh.
So, two teams do not have them.
The A's and
huh?
the Yankees. A's and Yankees.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the
Yankees,
only two I
due
can
to
think
the
of.
team's traditionally not wearing an alternate uniform.
I can see that.
In the Athletics, due to the process, other team moving to Las Vegas.
Just wait till they move to Las Vegas and do a whole new one. But that would be 4 years from now.
They should have a slot machine one on the side.
777.
Yeah, but make it AAA.
Have gold in it. Gold and I don't. That would be fun.
Look at us making jerseys here.
I just wish that they would leave the colors in California though. The gray. I mean, the green and yellow. I wish they. If you do have green, have a different, darker shade of green instead of yellow. Go gold, like the Golden Knights have. Go gold. Please go gold if you're going to Las Vegas. That'd be great.
You know what they say? It's not easy being green. What else you got?
For me, that's really it, because it was just the but I swore there was a rumor, maybe it's not official yet, just with the Angel City Connects. Remember, they have the sand of the beach kind of uniforms, and it has the lettering of like old time surfboard. And what's funny though, they're like half an hour away from like any beach in Anaheim. So it's funny how that is, where they're so far away from the beach, but they have beach style uniforms. I'm just hoping they either go like all red or all blue for their future City Connect jerseys. But yeah, if you heard me, I mentioned like a lot of the jerseys they have for the City Connect, they're getting rid of that I loved. Like the best one is the Diamondbacks for me, and it says Diamondbacks but in Spanish, and the hat is sand with black, and then the whole jersey is sand, and it's just it's great. It's my favorite, and they're getting rid of it.
That is sad. I'm not big on the ones Texas has.
I don't. Maybe they were going back.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so they were going back to like the history of baseball in Texas before the Rangers came. That's where it's all coming from.
Yeah.
But what's funny, whenever I watch a game, the pants and the hat looks black, even though it's a navy blue. But whenever I watch it, it looks like a black hat or a black pants, and it looks like an old, like 70s softball game. It just doesn't look right on the play. Major league players shouldn't be wearing that. It just looks awful. Oh, the Orioles this year are gonna wear like orange on orange, and it's gonna look weird. They did it once in the 70s, and they only did it once because it looks so bad. But yeah, orange and orange for a baseball team. I don't like that either.
It might grow. Who knows? That's all we got, I think. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, thank you for everyone who watched or who will watch, because we'll have more, on predictions next Saturday. I gotta do my research, and with all the injuries that we talked about, plus more that will be coming, we got to figure out, the predictions of who's going to be where. And it feels like, other from the Dodgers, everything else is up for grabs. Dodgers will probably repeat, but we just got to see who plays in the World Series and hope for the best. That's all I got.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Tuning in. It's gonna be a fun ride for this baseball season. join us for the ride. We'll have Big B on, when he's available. And who knows who else will come in. So, thanks for everyone for watching, tuning in. We'll be back next week for another edition of On Deck. Talk about the first 2 games of the season and, predict, this upcoming season. So with that, enjoy your weekend in the week, and we'll be back next week.